What's up? What's up? Whoop. Hello. What's up? Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? We're on a super chat. Can everybody hear me and see me? Hello. I'm so sorry I'm late. I had an interview and it went really long. And that is why I am so late. I'm sorry. Can everybody see and hear me? Oh. Okay, all right, let's do it. I know it's a affirmative. Sweet. We're at 9,918 subscribers. Eking along since they're throttling my numbers. Let's go to the live control room. How you doing? Hello, sounds good. I had to work hard to get an online job, so I don't have any super chats. Don't worry, Taj Marie. It's okay. Everyone can hear me all right? Let's go to Streamlabs. Those of you who do, let's do it through the Streamlabs. I'll give you the address here. So we're not going through the Googs. Log in with YouTube, right? I think I did it through YouTube before. Boom. Boom. How's everybody's Saturday? Normally we do it on Sundays, I know, but Saturday is just yesterday or tomorrow. Sorry, I'm a little scattered. Tomorrow I can't do it. So that's why we're doing today. And so we want to give this email address. How did I do that last time? Wait, how did I do that last time? How did I put the address to Streamlabs? Oh boy. All right, let's go. Very audible, very visible. Boom, Andrew Sweet is here. I thought it was past your bedtime, Andrew. You said the streetlights come on where you live. It's Sunday here, so you're good. Nice. Much love to the chat family. Yeah, there's the one upside I know of doing I know Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific sort of works good for me, and I know it works for many of you. But the upside to doing Saturdays is now it is Sunday to people in other parts of the world. Whereas when we do Sunday afternoon, it's like Monday, and some people are at work in Australia and Europe and all that stuff. So it's good to have you here. Ho, ho, ho. Wow. Here's shocking. End in Yemen war bad for weapon sales. Boy, they've demonetized that one. Isn't that nuts? And the Cosby video got demonetized. Boy, 3 videos demonetized this week. Man. Insert the ad, save changes. Unreal. Unreal. Not any chance they get to... Ugh, it's nuts. Let me go to dashboard real quick. So we're at Streamlab. Streamlabs.com/Graham Elwood is the, if you want to donate to that, you can do PayPal. Hold on. I hope everyone's doing great. I was surfing earlier with Putin. So good to see him. All right, where is Streamlabs? There we go. Dashboard. Let's. All right, so it's Streamlabs. Let's open up another one. There we go. Here it is. So I'm going to put this in. If you guys want to super chat, use Streamlabs. Streamlabs.com/Graham Elwood, and that's what we'll do. Boo, 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 boo. Surfing with Putin sounds like the worst Beast Boys tune ever. I'm sitting on a board and we're rigging the election. Gotcha wave, blame Jill Stein. We won't take responsibility for the Democratic primary being rigged. You catch a wave and you'll surf one too. You'll blame everyone else except yourself. Catch a wave and you're surfing with Putin too. Sorry, I won't do that ever again. My fault. All right. Kavanaugh is a repeated rapist, but the accusers witnessed the rapes and kept coming back until I don't agree with that at all. I think Kavanaugh is guilty. And it can be both, you know. And the guy's going to be on the Supreme Court, so it's a job interview. You know, everyone's like, innocent until proven guilty. If it's a court of law, yep. But, you know, and the whole, why do they wait 30 years to come forward? Well, you know, people that are abused don't want to come forward. There's a lot of shame that comes with that, and that's why they didn't come forward. And they're also afraid to come forward. And now he's in a position to take over the Supreme Court. So, you know, and what they're doing is the thing that they've always done to abuse victims, whether they're male, female, it doesn't matter. The Catholic Church spent tens of millions of dollars discrediting victims who were accusing, you know, pedophile priests. The Catholic Church spent money hiring so-called experts to say that repressed memories weren't real, because that's what a lot of things was happening. Well, repressed memories are very real, especially in the case of many of the kids who were abused. So when abuse happens to you as a child, your brain is still developing. So oftentimes what your brain will do, because the memory of what had happened is too severe, it basically almost just like locks it off until your brain develops and you get older. And in many instances, sometimes when you feel safe or something re-triggers you, then the memories start to come forward. So that's what, especially when abusers are in powerful positions and they're, you know, like look at Penn State. If you read the Free Report, F-R-E-E-H, Judge Free has a law firm. He was contracted by Penn State University after the first Sandusky was charged, and I believe, what was that, summer, September of 2011. They hired his law firm to do an independent report. In the Free Report, which is available online, he outlines how Paterno knew for like 13 years. There's all these emails where he knew And they were like, we just can't let anyone find out about Sandusky. We got to protect the program. So whenever you threaten the powerful with, in this case, a rape accusation, and when the person is guilty, they're going to line up and try to smear the accuser. That's what they've always done. I mean, Hillary did it with the women that accused Bill Clinton. And I believe Dr. Ford. I think Kavanaugh is guilty, and it's insane. It's you know, and the fact that they're making it a partisan issue is just like, it just shows how awful and broken our political system is, you know? And yeah, it's preposterous. It's another reason why the two-party system is horrifying, because it's just politicizing. You know, do you think it was easy for that Dr. Ford to do that in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee? It's not an easy thing to talk about to anybody. It's not an easy thing to talk about in a support group. It's not easy to talk about with friends and family that will automatically be compassionate with what you're talking about, let alone some spectacle tribunal in the corporate media. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Vegan Trove said, this is all about yeah. Well, as Vegan Trove is saying, Dems don't care about the sexual assaults and rape. If they did, they would be against the 8+ imperialist wars. Rape is a tool of war. Yeah, for sure. Rape is an awful, awful crime, because it stays with the victim for the rest of their life. And to watch this, you know, the two-party system, like, I hope the Kavanaugh and then the Cosby conviction, first of all, 10 years was not enough for Bill Cosby. He should have gotten, it was 3 charges, and they could have made them separate, and so it would have been 3 consecutive 10-year terms, but they combined them, so it's 3 to up to 10 years the maximum. So hopefully Cosby will die in jail. But I hope this is the beginning of really opening up a serious conversation about sexual assault, because to hear those like Republican women defend Kavanaugh and all this, well, boys will be boys, is horrifying. I never did that. Just like, oh, teenage boys are allowed to just do whatever they want because of their hormones. That's preposterous, and it's disgusting, and it offends me. And, you know, Kavanaugh was just acting like a guilty asshole. And, you know, what is awful, as is being pointed out, is if either party would, like, if this was a Democratic nominee and they were coming forward, they would the Democrats would be discrediting the accuser just like the Republicans are doing. Again, Hillary Clinton and others, you know, discredited the women that came forward against Bill Clinton. I'll read you a tweet by Jill Stein's running mate, Ajuma Baraka. I'm going to go to right here. If I go to Twitter, I retweeted this, but I'll read it for you guys. I'll put it on the big screen to illustrate the point that we're discussing here. If we go, so this says, I believe Ford, but I also believe Paula Jones and especially Juanita Broaddus. If you are too young to remember these cases or don't know about them, then ask one of your older Democratic Party activists. I'm not impressed with the moral outrage of hypocritical liberal Democrats, right? So this is Ajamu Baraka. So he was Jill Stein's running mate. He was the Green Party VP candidate in 2016, and he's bringing up a very good point, and which is talked about here, like what we're talking about. This is the ridiculousness of this awful two-party partisan politics. Is, you know, they'll take moral outrage when it's convenient for them. But again, if Kavanaugh was a Democrat or a liberal that they were trying to get on the Supreme Court, and Dr. Ford was accusing her in the exact same way, the Democrats would be going after her, right? So if you guys can't read this, it's flipped backwards. Sorry, I don't know how to fix that, but I read it. You saw a graph. No, I can't find that. Where is it? I want to pull this back over so I can look at it. So, I mean, that's just a, you know, I'm sorry, let me just fix this. I don't like the Republicans and at all, and they're pretty detestable, but the Democrats don't have much of a moral high ground to stand on, you know. So a dingo ate me, baby. Dora and Jamari Thomas are on vacation at the same time. We all know they're meeting Russian handlers and paymasters, getting next to the talking points. Yeah, Jimmy's in the Kremlin right now. You know that's Wyatt. So I did that last Tuesday. I did Aggressive Progressive with Ron Placona. We're doing it again this Tuesday on TYT. So it'll be Ron and I believe Brigitte Santos, who I've never met personally, but I've watched her work and she's pretty impressive. So it should be a pretty cool panel. So check that out. Moosegal, Graham, have you heard that Trump signs revised free trade agreement with South Korea? No, I have not heard that. And I haven't heard that at all. But going back here, Jilly Love 101, it's not a shame. It's all negative energy and repeat victimization. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing too. Is the victims having to replay it and then being discredited. It does repeat the being victimized is pretty awful. Paul Cowley. Hey, Graham, met you at the Comedy Club in Irvine Spectrum one night after the show with that other comedian who smokes weed. Oh, man. What's his name? You mean Doug Benson? Thanks for joining, man. Ernie Gutierrez going back. Trump did the same with Mexican deal, NAFTA 2.0, basically, yeah. So, don't forget, guys, go to Streamlabs and you can donate there and I will answer your question. Oh, here we go. How much bull? How much bull could a Schumer chuck if a Schumer could chuck bull? Well, thank you for donating $3 to make me read that joke. That's fantastic. I'll read that again. How much bull could a Schumer chuck if a Schumer could chuck bull? Thank you for supporting the show and just spending $3 on a joke. God bless you. This is also from Kava. Oh, hell no. Donated. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If Kavanaugh eventually goes down and Trump continues his hiring progressively worse people streak, will his next nomination be Roy Moore? That's a good question. I mean, yeah, Trump's pattern is to hire a horrible person, then fire them because they don't do his insane bidding, and then hire somebody worse. I mean, yeah, if Kavanaugh doesn't, it's a great question. Who does he have waiting that'll be worse than Kavanaugh? There's somebody worse than Kavanaugh, because it's always like every time we think, oh, Trump can't say or do anything worse. So yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. Pretty easy. He has no problems doing that at all. So that's a great question. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even fathom what horrifying troll they have waiting in the wings if Kavanaugh doesn't. I can't even hazard a guess on that one. But thanks you guys for supporting the show. Ernie Gutierrez, America needs socialism. It's very easy. Yeah, I would agree with that. So Muscal, the revised trade agreement is code for more giveaways to the multi-corporations and screw over the U.S. worker. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the trade deal, I mean, and I did a video on this, and maybe I haven't recorded it or it hasn't dropped yet. Yesterday I got a bunch of stuff came at me last minute, so I wasn't able to record a bunch of, I was going to record a bunch of videos. But so Trump is giving, a bunch of bailout money to farmers because his trade war with China is increasing tariffs on China buying our agriculture, produce, our farm goods, our food, basically. And it's hurting their business, so they have to get bailed out. Which is funny because a lot of these people from the heartland, these farmers and stuff who voted for Trump, they're all like, oh, these welfare moms getting their handouts, and here they are getting government welfare. They're being subsidized. But it just shows that Trump's trade and his protect America first isn't working. He protects his corporate buddies first and then screws over the worker. But that's most presidents, just screw over the worker. Trump's just the most egregious of all of them. Yeah. Hi, Graham. You got to check out Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 11/9. He tells the truth about how it really is. Well, that's good to hear, because like I've talked about him in the past. I mean, I like him as a filmmaker. I've met him. He's a very nice guy, and he does a lot of good work. But many of his movies are they're not necessarily documentaries. They're very sort of one-sided. But I hope, and I've been being told this by numerous people, that in Fahrenheit 11/9, he actually shows, I hope he calls out the Democrats for their nonsense for letting this happen. I really hope so, which that's good. Agent Dale Chomsky, there's been no coverage of the recent terror attack in Iran. From what I've read, there's a strong likelihood that it was U.S. Saudi-backed more imperialism. God, I know I've heard little things about this terrorist attack in Iran, but nothing. Yeah, there's been very little coverage of it. I'm having a hard time finding any real news or coverage about it. I'm sure it's U.S.-backed. I mean, I was watching the Carla Ortiz interview that she did with Jimmy Dore about 5 months ago about Syria. And boy, man, has she done amazing work in the video that she shot there. And I know she's done even more since that interview. It's like, and that, again, it's probably similar playbook that we did in Syria, which is the CIA tried to get out Assad because he wouldn't play ball. And Iran is another country. I remember reading after the fact when Bush was in the White House in the 2000s, George W., not the old man, that Iran, a pretty progressive country on a lot of levels, the younger generation was like listening to music, and the women were getting more rights and being more progressive, was trying to back channel, like a peace deal with the U.S. And the Bush administration, of course, said no, because we need war with Iran. And we've been trying to get a war with Iran for years. Because, we can't let them dictate their own oil. They can't. Why should they be allowed to sell and do with their oil what they should if they're not going to play? It's that they won't play ball with their oil. I mean, look at our history in Iran. We helped stage a coup in 1953 to overthrow a democratically elected president in Iran, to put in the Shah, who was a butcher. He was horrible. He tortured the people of Iran, right? But he played ball with us and give us oil. Yeah, you torture your citizens and we'll pretend like we don't see it and you give us your oil. Does this sound familiar? Oh, right, the Saudis we do that with. So the CIA started this thing in Syria in 2011. It's been going on for 7 years. It started under Obama. It's even being dumber and worse handled by Trump. And we're going to try to do the same thing in Iran. Because the corporate media certainly is not going to go, hey, the CIA is starting another bullshit coup in another country that's going to send your sons and daughters to another corporate war. They're not going to say that. Rachel Maddow's not going to be crying about that. Chris Hayes isn't going to be talking about that. Jake Tapper is not going to be, oh. No one's going to be talking about that, except maybe Tucker Carlson. How crazy of a world are we living in where Tucker Carlson is the one calling the truth about Syria? Cheryl Chaudhry, are there any white men that have been convicted and have gotten time in recent history? Yeah, Jerry Sandusky went to jail. He got convicted. Yeah. So hopefully he'll die there. Hopefully Cosby will die in jail. Moose Gal, Graham poll, 48% of white evangelicals would support Kavanaugh even if the allegations against him were true. Jesus. That's from Vox 2 days ago. Oh man, that is horrifying. Not surprising though. I'm gonna see if I can find that article right now and I'll start reading it. Yeah, this is on Vox. Here we go. Horrifying. Let me put this. Thank you, Moose Gal, for sending this. A Marist poll illustrates how white evangelical culture minimizes the seriousness of assault. 48% of white evangelicals say that embattled Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh should be confirmed even if the allegations of sexual assault against him are true. Marist asked 1,000 respondents from September 22nd to 24th whether they would support Kavanaugh if the allegations by Christine Blasey Ford, who says Kavanaugh assaulted her at a high school party decades ago, were found to be true. Support for Kavanaugh's confirmation falls among partisan lines, with 12% of Democrats and 54% of Republicans saying yes. Odd. Do Republicans think that, do Republican women think they don't get raped? Kavanaugh has consistently denied the allegations, as well as the allegations of at least 3 other accusers whose more recent allegations came out too late to be included in this poll. Aside from the 48% who said they would support Kavanaugh's appointment to the court, 36% of white evangelicals say they would not support it. Okay? And 16% did not have an answer. Mirroring the poll results, many prominent white evangelicals have spoken out in Kavanaugh's defense, characterizing the allegations against him as part of the liberal plot to waylay his nomination. Jerry Falwell Jr., oh, this has got to be another jackass quote, President of the Evangelical Liberty University sent 300 women Liberty students to Washington, D.C. to support Kavanaugh. Likewise, prominent evangelical Franklin Graham, gee, all these white guys got something to say about sexual assault, have expressed support for Kavanaugh, minimizing the nature of the alleged assault and characterizing it as merely a clumsy come-on. Wow. It's just a shame that a person like Judge Kavanaugh, who has a stellar record, that can bring something up that he did as a teenager close to 40 years ago. Yeah, this isn't like, you know, oh, he used to drink a lot at parties. This is sexual assault. And sexual assault isn't because, oh, I drank and partied too much. It's because you have a fucking thing where you want to rape and abuse somebody. It's not about sex. It's not about drinking. It's about power. And the thing is this is just unbelievable. Well, not unbelievable. White evangelicals are out of their goddamn mind. Wow. This article, yeah, Trump supporter on MSNBC told their daughters that men groping women is no big deal. That's great. Within the evangelical culture, as I've written previously, the idea that women are supposed to be the gatekeepers of male sexuality, that male sexual urges are inherently uncontrollable, and the idea that forgiveness is automatically owed to any alleged abuser converge to create a climate in which allegations of sexual harassment and abuse tend to be seen as a mere or at least forgivable. Yeah, I was a teenage boy with a lot of hormones and thought about sex all the time. Never did that. Never did that. Never forced myself on anybody. Never did that. Never raped anybody. Never did that. Never did that. What they're equating this is so offensive to me. So being like hitting on a girl a lot, or I remember plenty of times making out with a girl, my hat didn't slide down, she'd grab it, okay, sorry, I'd slide it down again, no. Okay, the minute she went, Graham, that's it. I'm okay. That's not the same thing as pinning someone down and forcing yourself on them. And they're trying to equate it like that. They're trying to say with like, oh, just looking at someone going, hey, she's cute. That's just normal hormones. I've had women look at me that way. I've had women go, hey, that's not the same as assault. And I'm so sick of this, like listening to this crap, like, and the evangelicals are out of their minds. I'm going to just say that. They're out of their minds. They don't care about a woman that was sexually assaulted as long as they get their anti-abortion wingnut to get control of the Supreme Court. That's all they care about. The evangelicals are nuts. They want to have some holy war in Jerusalem so they can. They honestly believe the second coming it's going to happen, and they got to do all these crazy things. This is just. I can't believe how difficult it was for Dr. Ford to stand up in front and say those things. I can't even believe it, man. Thanks for sending that, Moose Gal. Yeah. Ernie Gutierrez, Trump did say all Mexicans are rapists, but actually his right-wing douchebags are the rapists. Paul Cowley, I will. Paul, my info at grahamelwood.com. I'm sorry. It's going to go to Streamlabs. Don't forget, guys, if you go to Streamlabs and do some money there, I will answer your question or sing your joke like Chuck Schumer one, and you're supporting the show, and Google doesn't get any money. So what do you think about that? Hold on, I gotta take a drink. Jilly Love 181. Probably at least 4 out of 10 Americans want to fire all the politicians at this point. I think that number's a little low. I think it's probably like 7 out of 10 Americans want to fire all of them. Have you discussed Gilliam campaigning with HRC, making comments about invading Venezuela? He's got presidential aspirations, basically Obama. The Gilliam thing is so disappointing, but also should not be that surprising. You know, he ran on a progressive platform, and then the minute he won, he started walking it back. He's getting endorsed by Cory Booker. He's now going to campaign with Hillary. Like, excuse me, Hillary just she won't go away. She can't. The Clintons are narcissistic sociopaths. They just can't. They can't handle. She was supposed to be the president, and they cheated and ran a crappy campaign. And Gilliam, this is the thing where progressives need to, I've said this before, I don't like the platform of the Tea Party. I don't like many of their tactics, but their resolve is something that progressives need to look at. The way the Tea Party goes, if you don't vote our way, we're done. We're walking. They go on the floor of the Republican convention and go, we are out. You don't do what we want, we're gone. And progressives need to start doing this. Progressives need to start doing this. If Gilliam is going to, hey, yay, I'm going with the corporate Dems, and all of a sudden his website is back down from Medicare for all to like affordable health care. No, Medicare for all, it's free. Free health care. Don't we're just going to try to protect and save Obamacare. I don't want to hear that, man. We got to walk from them. We got to walk. I mean, walk. Vote for the Green candidate. You know, I'm going to vote for the Green. I mean, I'm going to tell people, I wish I lived in New York, but I'm going to tell people to vote for the Green candidate. I'm in the process of setting up an interview with Nomiki Konst. I'm going to talk to her. It was really cool talking to her on TYT. Cenk did most of the interviewing and stuff, but so I want to do a long form interview with her on this show. We'll get her on the big Zoom and get it going. And because I want to talk about this. I want to ask why, you know, everyone was like a couple weeks ago, oh, look what they did at the DNC is doing all these big reforms. All they did was they had said we're going to limit the influence of superdelegates. They didn't get rid of them. It's still a bullshit scam. And I think progressives, like just some people within the party are suckers. They're like, yeah, and they keep falling for this. And that's the Tea Party doesn't fall for this crap, man. They don't, that's why like, oh, we don't need purity tests. Yeah, we do. We absolutely need purity tests. And if you don't fit them, I'm gone. I'm not voting for you. I don't care. I don't care if you're running against a big mean Trumper. I'm going to vote Green. That's what I'm going to do. I'll write in a candidate. I'm not voting for Dianne Feinstein or that other like corporate Democrat light that's running against her. I'm writing a candidate in. I'm not voting for either one of them because I'm going to write someone in. I'm going to write myself in. If you live in California, write in me to be the next senator instead of Dianne Feinstein. I'll be your senator. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. This is what they brought this on themselves. Taj Murray, China is also buying up property in San Francisco and other cities, pushing up real estate prices and making it hard for people to find places to live. Yeah, I mean, there was during the recession, there was an episode of Bill Maher where he was showing busloads of Chinese people going into Detroit buying up property. When the recession hit, they came in and bought up so much property. You know, and there's another recession coming. So it's pretty insane that China is doing that. And this is what happens when we're unregulated. We don't regulate the banks. We don't put anyone in jail. Anyone top dollar wins, you know, top dollar wins. Well, then China can come in and buy up our stuff. So, Fernando Fernandez, thank you so much for supporting the show. You can do it here on the YouTube for the super chat like he just did. Thank you so much. There's also the Streamlabs. Go to streamlabs.com/Graham Elwood. Fernando Fernandez says, I think impeaching Trump is a mistake. If Dems win the House and Senate and pass progressive legislation, you think Trump will veto? How about Pence? Yeah, I agree with that. As much as I don't like Trump, and while I think emotionally I would like to see Trump get impeached just because that would be so, it would hurt, you know, he's not the best ever. Nope, you were impeached. It would be great to watch him get impeached and just like have to go to jail or something. That would be fantastic to watch emotionally, but I agree politically. The thing that scares me the most is Pence. Because let's say Trump gets impeached, and I've said this before, the left will fall asleep. All this resistance, people go, oh, we got him, we won. And Pence, his Twitter feed will be polite. He won't be offending people. He won't be calling any shithole countries, but he will be doing all of this evil, awful crap with a nice, polite smile. And people say, oh, he's so much Mike Pence is so much more presidential than Trump. That's what they'll say. Because look. If you want any evidence, look how they're talking about George Bush. People on the left, oh, you remember when, at least George Bush, I didn't agree with a lot of him, but he was classy, he was a presidential. Oh, really? Why? When he was starting an illegal war? When he was selling out Scooter Libby and bombing the shit out of Iraq and Afghanistan? Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize, you know, and then dropped 26,171 bombs. Like, and all of Pence is great. I can't have lunch with a woman because her evil women sex vibes will trick me or whatever is shock the gay out of people. Man, those evangelicals are crazier and more dangerous than Trump. Chris Hedges has a book on it. He's an ordained minister. Read that book. Because they have a very clear, scary agenda and don't care, as we've been talking about. I don't care if, you know, well, we don't have to protect women that are raped. We just need to get our pro-life wingnut on the Supreme Court. Look what they're willing to do. So if Trump is a convenient, he's scary and does dumb, scary, crazy things, but Pence will be more methodical. People will fall asleep. There won't be rallies as many. That's my fear. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you, Fernando Fernandez. Very much so. And thank you for supporting the show. Boom, boom, pow. Yeah, Pence is fucking worse. Exactly. Watch how everyone goes to sleep when Trump is out. So, Muscal brings up a valid point here, that there are a bunch of Justice Democrats that could go to the federal level of government. Don't forget that New York got rid of a lot of the IDC members. They probably will win. But the thing about that, like, that yes, progressives are winning and Democratic socialists are winning within the Democratic Party. And that's good. They got rid of the Independent Democratic Council, which was just a bunch of sellout Democrats that voted along with the Republican in the New York State Senate. But look what happens then. Like, you still have, Ocasio-Cortez, looks like she endorsed Cuomo, and then she's kind of walked back from that a little bit. But, but look what Gilliam's doing. So I'm all down with progressives if they're winning within the Democratic Party. If they can actually get some stuff done, I'm all down with it. But the real power structure of that party, I don't believe that power structure is willing to change. That's what I'm worried about. But as you say, as you point out, if they get enough progressives in actual positions, maybe that could change it. Maybe. But then look at Gilliam. If he becomes governor, he'll do a couple little progressive things to keep the base happy, but he'll play ball with the corporate Democrats. He'll play ball with the Republicans. Watch. That's what he'll do. So I agree with you on a lower, smaller, middle level, but the big power structure of the Democratic Party, I don't see it. I don't have that faith. Maybe I'm wrong. Where are we at here? Schultz 100. Green, though I think... Hold on, I just lost it. Where'd that go? I think it's high time America fully embrace some kind of socialist system of government. Yeah, absolutely. So Friday night, Ron Placone and I did some stand-up at this cool little artistic collective place. And then Ron took me to this show of David Rovax, who I've never heard before, but Ron was aware of him, who is a very progressive, calls himself an anarchist folk singer. And, he was talking a lot, and he gave it, his songs and the stuff he was talking about between songs, he was giving a history lesson, And that video I did about Eugene Debs, about how they've attacked socialists. And I agree. We need way more socialism. We just need a social, as you say, some kind of socialist system of government. Absolutely. I agree with that. So what? The Greens and the socialists need to join forces or something like that. I agree. That'd be a great thing. Annabelle Corley, Trump being laughed at the UN was gold, though. Yeah, that was great. I've done more for the government. Everybody laughs. And he had to take it. He couldn't. You saw how out of place he. You read his body language. He felt so out of place. He's so used to just saying. That's why he just likes having political rallies, because he says things and his egos, and then he goes, the world leaders. These are all these countries that have basically been saying, many since the election, we're done with America. We're going to circumvent you. We're not playing ball with you. And he says, we've done the best. We're the greatest of the best of the greatest, best ever. And then they laughed at him. God, that was great. But getting back... getting back to this discussion about between the Vegan Trove and Moose Gal, look what they did to Cynthia Nixon. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I don't know that me personally, that I have an either or here. I'm all for victories like getting the IDC out in the state Senate, and I'm all for it. Ocasio-Cortez, I'm all for it. But then Cynthia Nixon, they crushed her. Hillary backed, Hillary's all girl power, right? Oh, unless it's a girl that's a progressive, then I'm going to back the corporate guy. Who's like, Cuomo is a Republican, man. He's a full-on Republican. And so, yeah, progressives can win and hopefully change within the party, but the powerful in there are the people that really run the Democratic Party. I don't see them budging. I don't see them budging, but I get why some of you are beyond hope with the Democratic Party. All right, let me see what you just said. Moose cow. Let's see, this keeps popping up. You guys got a lot to say. Where did it go? Where did it go? Sorry. What happened? Oh. Sorry, sometimes my computer, it's only during these chats that it gets all slow and weird. Anyway, sorry, I can't seem to find that one. Fernando Fernandez, disappointed that many leaders of the establishment Dems beat progressives. It does seem we are gaining plenty of spots in the lower levels, which could translate to bigger victories down the road. Yeah, I hope. Again, I don't mean to sound like Johnny Flip-Flop, but I'm just saying, like, I hope that's right, and I've even advocated for that, getting progressives on a smaller level so it raises up. I just wonder, when you get close to that corporate Democratic ceiling, they're going to just like, nope. That's what I'm worried about. When the people who have the real money, look, if the Democratic Party could be overtaken by progressives, then it could really, because it has this big infrastructure. I just, it's hard, man. Because like, what's Cynthia Nixon going to do? Endorse Cuomo? If she does, progressives will say she's sold out. If she doesn't, the neoliberals will say she's she's helping Trump win or whatever. Like, I don't know. I would love if a new party with like the Greens and the Democrat and the Socialist, and it was labor themed and got real big money behind it, then we would see some shit change. If a party like that started pulling the whole country to the left, you better believe the Democrats would start going left. Andrew Sweet, if they ram through Kavanaugh, will it affect the women's vote and thus the Dems' results? That's a great question. That's a great question. Man. I don't know. That's a really good question. That's an interesting thing to discuss. They ram through Kavanaugh. Will women just go, nope, and just completely reject? Will they they'll definitely reject the Republican Party, but you got to remember 55% of white women voted for Trump. How many of them will bail on Trump and the Republican Party as a result of this? Kavanaugh being pushed through. But then I've seen some conservative women on social media say, oh, that Dr. Ford, whatever. And it's just like, oof. Will it engage even more women to get involved in politics? Will more younger women get involved? Will it? I don't know. That's a really good question. It could. Who knows what the ramifications of that will be? That's a great question. Man. It's possible Trump will win again. The Dems have got nada. If he does fascism like algae, will cover the pond. Yeah, it is a legitimate thing that I'm watching as, again, if progressives win on the lower level, but then the Democratic nominee is just another, it's Joe Biden, it's Elizabeth Warren, it's Kamala Harris, it's somebody that's not, like, they'll shun Tulsi and they'll run on some neoliberal platform. People might, their whole platform will just be, we're not Trump. Then we could have another 4 years of Trump. The Democrats at the powerful at the top, that could happen. Muscal, Graham, Freedom from Religion, American Atheist, and Secular Coalition of America will remind us of the religious shit Pence will do if Trump is impeached and out. These organizations rally the secular voting base. Oh, that's good to know. I wasn't aware of some of them. Abby Martin of Empire Files does some of the best reporting on international war. Look and see if she has any news on Iran. She has a podcast too. Yeah, God, if Abby's got information on Iran, I want to hear it. Yeah, Abby Martin is fantastic. Abby Martin is like, what the work that she's doing on that show and her whole production team, they're unreal. Andrew Church, I'm here because I LOL'd at the two whorehouse party comment on aggressive progressives. Thank you. I love going on that show. I got mad and I threw papers up. It was a fun show to do. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Balthazar 228, we need to report voting percentages as percentage of total. HRC didn't get the popular vote. She only got about 26.5% of the vote of the total voting population in 2016. Yeah. Actually, of the eligible, of the electorate, she got 19.8%. There was about 28% of the electorate that was deemed ineligible for various reasons. Yeah, it was insane. She didn't get the, I mean, 58% voter turnout, 50 somewhere in there, 56, 58% voter turnout in the last election. Ridiculous. 56% of eligible vote of the electorate, not even the total population. Yeah, Dems' whole mission for 4 years has been, we're not Trump. The Dems have got nothing. Yeah. Triana, be fine. Any unity outside the duopoly will be a step in the right direction. Yes, I would love to see that. I would love to see it. I'd love to see the Greens form with the socialists and be more of a Labor Party. I'd love to see the Libertarian Party get more votes. I'd love to see like an engaged democracy. I'd like to see people having real discussions and debates, not this partisan yelly, you're fuck you, you're wrong, my party, none of that, but like really like sit down and have a discussion. I'll have a discussion, even a debate with any reasonable person. I know some conservatives that are reasonable, people are more libertarian. I'll listen to reasonable discussions and debates and issues I might not even agree with if they're being reasonable. If they're just being wingnut right or neoliberal, they're not reasonable. It's like talking to flat earthers or some shit. Like, I don't even, you know, you're nuts. Does the earth is flat? Yeah. And the moon is made of cheese. Great. And Santa's coming with the Loch Ness Monster. I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to go to streamlabs.com/Graham Elwood to donate to the show. And I will answer your question. Here is the link. Speaking of Hedges, his last On Contact interviewed a young graduate from West Point who left the military because of his socialist beliefs and because our military is disgusting. Good interview. Oh man, this is the thing that's so, you know, these people that are they're just lasering in on truth, and you can spot it once you wake up, and you just want truth. You can spot it. You can say, I might not agree with this person on this or that issue, but when they just want the truth, man, you spot it. You can spot it in Hedges. You see it in Abby Martin or Carla Ortiz or anyone. Jimmy, it's just, They're just speaking truth. And, you know, good for that kid for speaking up, coming from West Point. Whew. Man, you're getting groomed for one of the top slots in the company. You come out of West Point, man. They always say it don't mean a thing unless you got that ring, that West Point ring. That's your golden ticket, man. So, Taj Marie, even though there is great disagreement on economic issues, I would like to see the Green Party unify with libertarians in going against the military-industrial complex. Yeah, that would be amazing. I know. Libertarian is very much like, nope, we don't want it, don't leave it, don't pay for it, no. But what if they did do that? What if they did do that? That would be revolutionary. When we talk about we need a revolution in this country, I don't want an armed one, because that's going to be bloody and awful for everybody. But I would like that type of a social, political, and cultural revolution to happen. That would be transformative. That's the kind of transformation that we need. Water break. Vegan Trove. Graham, have you checked out Eyes Left podcast? It's fantastic with Mike Preisner. Yeah, he's a producer on Empire Files. It targets helping military get out of these immoral wars. I have not listened to it yet, but I have heard about it because I know who Mike Preisner is. I know he's a vet, and I know he's he's Abby Martin's cameraman and producer, and I think they're even engaged. So he and her, the two of them have like gone into this shit together. There's video and photos of them both getting like tear gassed in Venezuela or something. It's just like they're the real deal. And so I'd love to get Preisner on this show and talk to him, or go on that show. I really would, because I'd love to hear. I love talking to vets, you know, and what they've gone through. It's you know, going to Iraq, Afghanistan, and Kuwait, and those trips, I saw what the military. I saw the military-industrial complex, and I saw a lot of really good people that were joining for noble reasons. I saw people that were joining and re-enlisting because of money. You know, I reported on this in 2007. The Iraq war was really awful. We had 160,000 people, I think, in country at that time. We had 40,000 people in Afghanistan, and recruitment was as low as it's ever been. And then, whoa, crazy, a recession hits. And now everyone wants to join the military and re-enlist because there's no more jobs anymore and their houses are gone. Michael Stiegel Jr., hello, I just got out of Doug Loves Movies. What did I miss? We've been talking about great things. I hope Doug Loves Movies was great. Basil Peterson, sadly, I think we are the 1% of the 99% that realize what's going on. Well, I understand feeling that way, but I think it's bigger than that. I think more people are waking up. Again, I know they're throttling my numbers, and I'm stuck at 9,900. I was stuck at 9,700 for a while. Now I'm at 9,900, which is great. I should be at 15 or 20,000. But look at the 10,000 subscribers roughly that I've gotten in a year and a half. I'm waking up, you're waking up, more people are starting to wake up. More people are seeing this broken system one after another. I mean, people have got to be looking at this Kavanaugh confirmation hearing and Dr. Ford and going, this whole thing is fucked. Here's a woman that is, you know, there needs to be a full investigation. If a woman makes this accusation, there needs to be a full investigation. And everyone just immediately just lines up on party line. It's just, so I think the number is a little bigger than that, and I think it's growing. I think it's, I mean, Bernie helped a lot of people get involved. Say what you want to say about where he's at now, but he got a lot of people involved. And I think there's more of us that are awake than that, me personally. Other than Jimmy, do you go on other shows? I'm starting to try to, I want to do more of that, you know. I went on Actify Chat several times in the spring, which was cool. I'm trying to get on some other big shows. I want to You know, I was on Tim Black's show a couple months ago, which was really cool. I like what Tim does, man. He's got a really nice setup, and he's out there fighting the good fight. He's been doing it for a long time. So I think any show that I'll try to get on any show I can that'll have me. Quite honestly. So if there's any shows that you watch or listen to, email them and send them a link to this show and say, hey, you should have Graham Elwood on. Have the Political Vigilante on. That kind of stuff helps. Believe me, I've had people, you guys have emailed me, oh, I should interview this person, and I've done it. So if you email these other shows and say, have Graham Elwood on the show, that helps me. That helps me out. So, bye, Jilly. That is a healthy number in 18 months. Yeah, if she was credible, if Dr. Ford was credible enough to testify to Congress, there should be an investigation. Yeah, why can't we have an investigation? What's so hard about that? Due process? Like, the other thing too, people who are like, oh, she's lying, she's making this up. Well, then let's have wouldn't you want to have an investigation? Like, if somebody falsely accused me of something, I'd be like, we're absolutely having an investigation. If I'm ever falsely accused, I'd be like, I want a full investigation. Yep. I'm innocent. I know I didn't do it. I want a full investigation. And we're going to find proof that this person is setting me up and lying. That's what I would do. So what is the fear of an investigation? If you're innocent, you should want one, right? And also to show, look at what our democracy is. This is what democracy is. We have a court system. Everyone gets due process. Everyone gets their day in court. If I was accused of something I didn't do, I'd be like, I absolutely want to stand on trial and show that I didn't do this. Imad Arandi, thank you for supporting the show, my friend. Longtime fan, no questions. Keep vigilanting. Also push Jimmy for POTUS. You guys have the best network of people. Hedges, Abby Martin, maybe Cornel West. Yeah. I would love that. Thanks for supporting the show, man. And I would love to get all of us progressive, independent media activist types together. We should form some or have some progressive conference or something and get all of these folks together and talk and meet and move it forward and start our own network is what we should do. We should start our own online network of shows. That would be great. I would love to see that happen. Thank you. Thanks for supporting the show. Don't forget Streamlabs, guys. You can support the show there. All right, got to reload the computer. Reload the computer. Yeah, the so-called left is smearing Jimmy. Yeah, I know. I would support Tulsi for president. Jesus Zamora, or Jesus, excuse me. When the economy collapses, do we really want a progressive in office? It will only embolden the Republicans to say socialism doesn't work. Good point. A collapse is coming. An economic collapse is coming. I've talked about it. I've shown videos and reports on it. I've been doing that. That's a good point. So, I'll propose this scenario. Imad Arandi, don't worry about it, man. I'll get paid tomorrow, so sorry for the tiny super chat. No, dude, you're awesome. Any amount you guys can give, I always say, any way you can support the channel, I appreciate it. I know some of your money is tight and all that stuff. I appreciate it. you know. Also, I'll say this real quick before I get back into that question. Oh, I know many of you were like, Graham, I would do the $5 level of Patreon, the submitted article. I added 10 more slots at that level. There was 30 or something like that. I made it 40 now, I think. So there's 10 more of those slots. Go snatch them up right now, and you can submit an article or a topic for me to talk about once a month for $5. Plus you get access to the audio early and stuff like that. But I want to, going back to what was brought up here about an economic collapse if we had a progressive in the White House. Let me propose this scenario. The Democrats screw over a progressive candidate for president in 2020 and put some Joe Biden or somebody like that who loses to Trump. Trump wins a second term, and then the economic collapse happens. I don't want an economic collapse to happen, but I don't see how it's not going to, right? It's going to happen. That's what everyone's saying. That last video I did, an economics professor is saying this is going to happen on CNBC. The recession hits, Trump's in the White House with all of his deregulatory shit, and then the country just says, fuck this. And that's when socialism and labor, boom, have their moment like they did during the Great Depression. And people just go, that's it. And a Labor Party rises or merges with the Greens or whatever. And then every party starts talking labor, get rid of capitalism. I mean, you'll have massive walkouts. You'll have massive strikes. I mean, what happens if there's food shortages and stuff like that? You know? So it's, yeah, Greece, the test case. So that could happen. But Eric House just puts up there, oh, sorry, Husso, under the fog of Kavanaugh, House passes $3.8 trillion more in tax cuts. You see this? See what they do? We've talked about this for 2 years, man. Trump and his nonsense is the great distractor. Not that we need to have a national discussion about sexual assault and really reevaluate how we're talking about this. Right? That needs to happen. That absolutely needs to happen. And who's going to be confirmed in the Supreme Court? This is a serious issue. This isn't Stormy Daniels. This is a serious issue. But you see what they do? Everyone's over here talking about this thing. Past that. You know? Yeah, see, Blaine, food shortages are scary with all the guns we have. That's the thing. Yeah, I do worry about that. Food shortages, walkouts, riots, and then there's all these guns. Our militarized police show up, and then like armed dudes, militia people show up. Whew. Then there's a 3-day war in some, like in Dallas or LA or wherever. Just, I mean, like, it's pretty nuts. Yeah, Obama isn't left. He's a right-wing warmonger. Yemen and his drone wars, absolutely. But Fernando, you bring up a good point. Unfortunately, what might happen is the collapse happens under somebody like Bernie, and then everybody blames him. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah. Vegan Trove, the government needs to keep a healthy deficit to avoid the devastation, but because they don't care about the masses. Everybody learn MMT. Yeah. Watch those videos I did with Jeff Epstein from Citizens Media TV, and he's been expanding Citizens. Learn more about MMT. He's introduced me to a couple of like way more knowledgeable MMT people, and I'm setting up those interviews. Those will happen in the next month or two. So I'm going to be talking more about MMT. You guys do more research if you haven't, and that's That's big. I was watching The World According to Jesse Ventura, and he was talking about the Fed. Can't go up against the big bad Fed. He was talking about the Federal Reserve. Is it very interesting? Imad Arandi, thanks again, my friend. By the way, all SCOTUS judges are genociders. What is rape compared to genocide? Purge the SCOTUS. Don't remember Ginsburg chaining herself to a tank. Yeah. It's... The Supreme Court is... yeah. But that's what the crazy right wing has been trying to angle for decades. Get control of that. And then we can overturn Roe v. Wade. I mean, that's their crazy thing, man. So thank you for supporting the show and bringing that up. It's a very important thing to remember. Muscal, Graham, when the Illinois governor candidates recently did their first televised debate, there was a Libertarian, Conservative Party, Democrat, and Republican candidate all on the same stage. That is awesome to hear. I did not know that Illinois had done that. And that's what we should demand, that in your local races. It'll be hard to get that up to the presidential level because the parties control those debates very strictly for this very reason. They don't want any competition. They want you to pick Coke or Pepsi, and that's that. That's that. They don't want you having a vegan smoothie or kombucha or sparkling water. It's Coke or Pepsi, kids. Yeah, but that's great. Demand that in every state you live in. I want all of these candidates represented on the debates. Demand it. Jilly Love 101, grow a garden and learn to preserve and protect your watershed. Absolutely. Amirs, did you see any of the MMT conference yesterday and today? No, I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I know that I believe Jeff was there. But it'd be, send some links our way or whatever. But I'd like to hear more about that. That's a really cool conference that they're having. Jordan Bailey, I heard Gorsuch, Roberts, and Kavanaugh were all judges in Florida during the 2000 election. Wouldn't be surprised. Have you ever watched any of the Let the Madness Begin on YouTube? I highly recommend them. They sometimes go by LTMB. I have not watched that, but I will. Stable, genius, progressive. Well, I guess it's time to write off Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, just like Bernie Sanders, because they lie about political revolutions and stuff. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't write off Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just yet. She isn't even in office. So let's see how she starts voting. Let's not write her off just yet. Let's see how she votes. Let's see if she starts making little backroom deals and playing politics and selling out progressive agendas just to get elected, then we can say that. But it's too early to do that with her just yet. I wouldn't. She gave kind of a to Cuomo, but maybe they were frying her. Maybe they were just trying to throw it at her in that interview to just say that. And maybe she took so much flack from it because Jimmy automatically did a video, which I know she heard about and watched. There's no way she didn't. She was on Jimmy's show. Jimmy was influential with her. So I wouldn't write off Alexandria Ocasio just yet. That's the other thing we got to, as progressives, guys, let me just implore this upon you. We can't be reactionary. We're all very passionate and we want things to get fixed because it is so bad, and I understand that. And you have a right to feel let down by Bernie and stuff like that, absolutely. But let's not just overreact, right? Gilliam looks like he's letting us down for sure because he's with Hillary. Again, let's see what happens when he votes. But he's already, I have a hard time believing if he's like, yay, Hillary. But let's not just one little thing. I don't think Ocasio-Cortez and Gilliam are the same people, and I don't think they're that's my point. That's my point. Not making excuses for anybody that runs on a progressive platform and then bails on it, but let's get real evidence. Let's see a voting. You know, what stuff they say in the media, okay, kind of, yes, but let's see how they vote, where they get their money from. Then we'll go from there. That's just my opinion on that. Yeah, Gilliam is with Hillary, Booker, and W. Wasserman Schultz. Well, Kong Fuzi, governors don't vote on a federal level, but they do have influence on what laws are passed within their state. You know what I mean. Let's not get into a semantic thing. Let me check Streamlabs. Don't forget, guys, you can go to Streamlabs to support the show. You can use through PayPal. All right. Snork Y2K, it is so late. This must be almost done. Learn something. I have 2 different internet connections. When I switch ISPs, I get notifications even though it's the same computer. Well, good to know. Good to have you here. Baby Gerald, Massachusetts is a Gilliam type person running too. I'd love to see Jimmy Dore and Sam Sneeder run in 2020, huh? We do need a people's party. See Jimmy D's cop whistleblower vid today. They're all corrupt. Graham, you should see if Kyle Kalinske would interview on his show. That would be awesome. Oh, I'd love to do a Kyle Kalinske show. I've watched many of his videos. I like what he does, man. Yeah, Jeff is getting better about talking about MMT. We should start telling people we don't need 9 judges on the Supreme Court. Isn't the number of judges arbitrary? Yeah, there's supposed to be a tiebreaker judge. We need 50 justices. Ties must be broken by a national election. Wouldn't that be great? Isn't that the thing that's like they started this technology in another country. It's on the blockchain, which is way more protected, obviously, where citizens get to, what if we got to vote on that? Instead of our Congress people and senators and all the Senate, which is awful, it's where good ideas go to die. What if we got to do that? Hey, America, not these 9 justices, not these 9 people that were picked by presidents. We're split on something? America, you get to vote. The way, if America can vote for American Idol every week, it could vote for, what if we got to vote on all those big issues? The American citizens got to weigh in and go, no, this is what we want. Does your state want single-payer health care? Oh, I got to wait and see if these corporate Democrats sell me out or not? No, I get to go online and it's secure. The technology exists to vote. The blockchain, you can't hack it from what I understand. I'm not a tech person, but from how it's been explained to me, I can't. Oh, and I want to say this real quick. I've been trying to get on Steemit, for the love of God, and I try to upload to DTube, and every time I upload the video and then I click the thing to publish, and it says I get an error. So should I use DLive or DTube? Because I heard DLive left the blockchain. I'm trying to get on, I'm trying to get I signed up for a Bitcoin wallet. This is very confusing doing all this shit, man. I'm trying to understand cryptocurrency. I want to get involved in it, but it's getting really complicated. So if anyone can email me, we can't get into it now, but email me info@grahamelwood.com if you understand DTube and DLive and Steemit. Like, explain it, because I set up a Steemit page, I set up a DLive and a DTube page, but it's confusing as fuck, man. Yeah, one person, one vote. True democracy. That's absolutely right, Kong Fuzi. Hong Kong Fuzi. We need a people's veto. We can veto anything the Fed does, giving us the same power the president has. Absolutely. You have felines circling you like sharks for some lunch. Stable Genius Progressive. I was helped by the Affordable Care Act. Only reason I'm alive today. Am I supposed to actually buy into the idea that there's no difference between the political parties given that fact? And yes, I'm for single-payer health care. Well, that's a very good point to bring up, and thank you for saying that. I would go back to this. Obama had the House and the Senate, and we could have passed real single-payer health care. Obamacare is basically Romney care. So he adopted a basically Republican health care act when he could have gotten the best for everybody when he had control of the House and the Senate. So that's where I say there isn't much of a difference between the two parties. There were Democrats undermining who got the healthcare industry pays Republicans and Democrats evenly. Did you know that? I found that out earlier in the year. So it wasn't just Republicans blocking Obamacare. There was Democrats working against it. See, this is what the Democrats do. When they have control of everything, they don't really pass everything that we progressives really want. They sort of bail on it. And then when the Republicans get power, then they say, oh, the Republicans blocked it. See what I'm saying? I benefit from Obamacare as well. I pay my own health care. I'm saving upwards of $3,000 a year using Obamacare. So I'm very much in favor of it. But when I learned that I could have had it even better, that's when I got mad. Jana Kelton. Wait a minute. How was Obama supposed to pass single-payer health care when the House and Senate were filled with corporate Dems who would never have voted on that? That's my point. Well, you just said now. Wait a minute now. Your words just said, how can you tell me there's no difference between the two parties? You're the president. You're a Democrat. You're the head of the Democratic Party, and you couldn't get corporate Democrats in line because they're paid off just like the Republicans. That's my point. Obama was president, but he couldn't control their vote. Well, he obviously wasn't that progressive. If he was a real progressive, he would have said no. He would have fought a lot harder. Versus they tried to paint it like Republicans obstructed it, and it wasn't. It was Democrats when they had control. That's why I see very little difference between the two parties. Yeah. Watch Cryptosaurus on YouTube. I will. Thank you, Lee. Obamacare is a right-wing plan. Republicans would have passed something almost identical. Andrew Sweet was in ER for a day for a possible leg clot, no clot, 2 docs, many nurses. Now I'm getting home care, nurse, drugs, grand total to me, $0. You live in Canada, right, Andrew? Is that what I'm saying? Yeah, Obama never put a public option in the ACA. Yeah, it is the president's job to sell policies to his base. Obama didn't do that. Absolutely. The whole country wanted it. The whole country still wants it. And then politicians in both parties that are paid off by the healthcare industry get in the way of it. They just did it in California. Last year, Democrats controlled the California State House and Senate. And they undercut, we're trying to get Medicare for all or single payer health care in the state of California for all California residents. They undercut it. They just lost some seats. So now they can say the Republicans. See how they do it? Yeah, we're glad you're alive, Stable Genius Progressives. No one is saying we want to get rid of Obamacare. We're saying it could have been better. Obama and the Democrats had control and they did it. They sold us out. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, Vegan Troll, Graham, is Yemen genocide allowed to continue because, one, many folks are inherently racist and don't care or just don't know about it, or is there a third reason? It's they don't know. It's absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of racism in this country, but I think if most Americans saw what was actually happening in Yemen, they're not showing the footage. Look what happened. They show one sort of chemical weapons attack and Americans go, oh boy, we got to bomb Syria. That's what happened. They're not showing it. If they were to show the Yemen, what was really going on in Yemen right now today, if CNN was there, we're in Yemen, here's all these kids dying, they're showing those. I did the video with the kid with a 9-centimeter arm. If that was on the news every day, if Rachel Maddow was banging the drum about that every day the way she is about Russia, Americans would go, what the hell are we doing in Yemen? There would be an outcry. There would be an outcry. That's what I firmly believe. For the most part, America's got a heart. America has compassion. American people open up their checkbook and donate to all types of causes. Whenever some country has a disaster or whatever, Americans, for the most part, of all ethnicities and backgrounds and socioeconomic and political bents, Americans go, wait, that ain't right. But we're told lies. We're not shown that. We're not shown the reality of Syria. It's a secular country. Women, there's a lot of Christians there. There's women in high positions of government. Women are allowed to go to college. It's all they like. We're not shown it. We're not shown the realities. That's why. That's what I firmly believe. And that's a great question to ask. Yeah, if they showed bombs landing, it's a lot of stuff. Voting for the lesser two evils is still voting for evil. Yeah, Obama let Standing Rock happen. Absolutely. So, yeah, you don't hear anything in Australia too. Yep. Well, guys, we just did it. We just did an hour and a half. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you to everybody that supported it. First of everybody that supported on YouTube, Fernando Fernandez. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Imad Arandi, thank you. Imad Arandi again, thank you. Imad Arandi a third time. And then everybody on Streamlab. Don't forget, guys, you go to streamlabs.com/GrahamElwood. You can donate anytime there. And I want to thank How Much Bull donated and Kava, oh hell no. You guys are hilarious. You guys are fantastic. Just read Time to Wake Up. The neoliberal order is dying. Great article. Alas, without definitely naming the various mostly neocons. Thank you, Scrabbletti. You guys are fantastic. As I said, I've added 10 more slots in the $5 Patreon tier where you get to submit an article, because that has been sold out. It's been, and many of you are like, oh, I'd like to do that. So go to patreon.com. A lot of great ways to support the show. And I really appreciate you guys coming out here. I love these discussions and debates that we have. Thank you, Bat Mashups, for supporting the show. Everyone should watch They Live. That's what you're paying $2 for. Watch They Live. They Live, actually, it's good you brought that up. While it's got some cheesy stuff in it, it is very, it's a socialist movie. I mean, it's a movie about the evil corporations taking things over. If you watch closely, that's a great thing to bring up. So you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And please, subscribe to the audio podcast on iTunes. It's in the news and politics section. It's not in the comedy section, called Political Vigilante, obviously. And I just take the audio from 7 or 8 videos so you can listen. And again, that's a great free way to support the show, because download numbers, all those numbers help. Like and subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. You may have subscribed 10 times and they're unsubscribing a bunch. Hit the bell button for notifications. You guys are great. Jana Kelton said, call your senators, guys. Sorry for caps. So easy to just take your address and ask no for Kavanaugh. They're getting calls already. Yep. Call all your senators and say no on Kavanaugh. Call all of them. Let them know. Even if you're like, oh, I live in the reddest of red states, let them know. They got to pay attention. Pay attention. It's a way to get involved. At least we can say you did something. You got to do something. So thumbs up on the vids too, you guys. That helps. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining and supporting the show. I very much appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. And remember, make Gotham great again. Those shirts are for sale too. Come on now.